in Amelia Island, Florida. Some of you may think it's day 10 by now. I went to bed early last night, so I'm ready to go, in good shape. Well, I'm ready to go at least. And I do have a couple of announcements related to activities. We got more fishing boats for those who were waiting breathlessly for that. And so if you're on a waiting list, you'll be able to go out. And you should at some point, but not right now, go out and just reconfirm. And if you need to give a credit card, do that. And there's also more bikes. So anybody who wants to bike will be able to bike also. And so, those were unknowns as of yesterday. We have a great jam-packed morning today, I'm told by Steve. And so we want to get right into it. Our breakfast sponsor, in a traditional spot for them over many email summits, we appreciate their support, is Yes Lifecycle Marketing. They always kick off day 2. It's a tough spot because day 1 is often a late night, but it's a great way to get your morning going. You're going to hear this morning from Kim Jeanette, who's the Senior Strategist of Yes Lifecycle Marketing. Please welcome Kim.
Thank you very much. Can everybody hear me okay? Marketing, as Ken just said. I'm really excited to be here. I've never been to this event before. This has been really eye-opening, and it's been fun getting to know you and seeing some of my favorite brands out there. We get to work with a lot of really amazing brands ourselves. One of my favorite things that I love about my job is the brands that I get to work with. So I'm just going to dive into. So I was hoping that maybe I could get your guys' attention with this picture. But I'm also going to use it as a metaphor for how we can take data to a new level. And when you look at how Bloody Marys are made, I think that you'll see how I'm going to bring it all together and connect the dots. But hopefully I've got your attention now. I could really use one right now. I haven't actually spoken in front of an audience for about 3 years now, so be kind. Be kind. A little out of practice. But what I wanted to do was, because we are Yes Mail, we have a lot of data that we can share with you. So I was hoping that I could just take our Q1 benchmark report and decipher it down to just some good tidbits that you guys could take home with you. And one of them, which was a highlight for us, was looking at how customers are reconnecting with email. So 6% of your new subscribers are now opting into email. So what does that mean? It's a 30% growth in subscribers over the last 3 years. It's not all good news because there's a decline in CTO rates of 22%. This, of course, I didn't want to bore you with a bunch of charts. I really didn't boil it down, but the bottom line is they're willing to sign up. You make it easy. You guys got all the forms right. And they are willing to open them because they're on their device at the time, but they're not engaging with your messages. So how do we get customers to engage with us more? So I said that I would get back. There we go. I think that Salesforce, and I can't remember the gentleman's name, I'm always like the tall guy from Salesforce, talked a little bit about this yesterday, but it's important to reiterate that if 90% of customers want custom content, then how come only 64% of brands are actually giving that to them? And 2/3 aren't even doing any kind of personalized data. So we talk about how we're doing this, but are we really there yet? So again, I said I'd go back to our Bloody Mary metaphor, and let's talk about what's personal. This isn't personal. Everybody's got one of these. I'm going to the bar and they just have them lined up for me, and I don't get to choose what accoutrements that I get in there, what spicy, not spicy. So what I thought I'd do is take this to talk to you about how to target the right person at the right time and at the right device. So let's call her Jenny. Jenny really likes this Bloody Mary. She likes the sprig of thyme. She's really into spicy, and she likes it in tall glass. So this is what we're talking about, the difference between having this and this experience. So taking it back to the Bloody Mary metaphor, You have to start with, and I saw this on Scott shared some of your pain points that I thought were really great yesterday morning. And I took notice of how you're still working with bad data. Well, this is, you can't make a Bloody Mary without these ingredients, and the same goes for your database. Click. So, do you have demographic data? That's right. Who here has had the unfortunate personalized email come into their inbox and it just says, hello, and that's it. And you're just, am I hello? Where am I? Or worse, I get this one all the time. Hello, Jeanette, because I have a last name that's a girl's name. It's all my husband's fault. But I get a lot of that. And that's not personal. I know they don't know me. Now I'm mad. So this is the type of thing that we're talking about. This is my favorite customer I get to work with. Again, I said that I get to work with these amazing brands. I love my job. And one of the reasons why I love my job is because I get to be a consultant every day to major organizations like See's Candies. Who doesn't love See's Candies? And if you've never had one, get to the airport tomorrow or the next day and pick yourself up some, because I'm sure that they're in Jacksonville. And, oh, sorry about that. Getting back to my See's Candy. There we go. And moving forward, what I wanted to talk about with See's is they have a really interesting clientele. I don't know when last time you guys were at a See's Candy, but my grandmother took me to See's. And then my parents took me to See's. They were inside of a Sears. I'm dating myself now. But I'm also from the West Coast. Did I say that I'm from San Diego yet? Because everybody knows that about me at some point in their... if you talk to me for more than 20 minutes, you're going to find out I'm from San Diego. I actually live in the Bay Area now. And See's Candy is, of course, a West Coast company. But what they had was a problem. They were trying to figure out who their customers are, and as grandma was turning into great-grandma, how do they fill the funnel with new people? So we owned their database as well as their email program. We did a big deep dive into them, and we found about 6 different personas. And our favorite was our male persona, who we call James. James is great. He's one of our best customers, and he has certain traits that we knew and hypothesized that if we did something different with James on Valentine's Day, we could increase their sales. And we did. James, although he's a gentleman and always buys the right things for his mother, wife, friend on Valentine's Day, he tended to buy them last minute. So maybe we could get more out of James if we got him earlier. So we developed a plan and executed against a 3-part series of, James, be the man with the plan this year. Make sure that you're getting in there and getting your stuff on time. And what was the end result? Right there in front of you. 25% increase in purchases, 4% increase in clicked open rates. So this was 2015. This year, we doubled that. I just met with them and did their quarterly review. And we hit it out of the park because we learned from this experience, and we're continuing to learn with this data. So 48% increase in sales this year to James alone, just by teasing out and understanding who James is. So that's just the base, right? So we knew a little bit about his behaviors. We knew he was male. So how do you, going back to the Bloody Mary metaphor, some of us are getting into really crazy Bloody Marys. We want crab legs and bacon and all these things. You guys have seen these. It's a whole phenomenon out there. So think about that when you look at more data fields that you can apply to your personalized. So here's another favorite customer of ours, Marriott Rewards. And I think Jordan from our office was talking to Julie from Hertz yesterday, and he mentioned that what I'm about to put up here. Marriott Rewards is a cool customer. They did something that I think was pretty phenomenal. They used their customers' data in a new way. They gave it back to them because here's what we know about our customers. They like to talk about themselves. Just like, you know, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself that I think resonates with this. My husband is a pretty, he's always out traveling. He works for IDC. He's a speaker. He goes around the world. One of his favorite things is TripAdvisor, because he sometimes only has one day in places like Portugal, Kazakhstan, all these different places around the world. And he uses TripAdvisor to make his day more special. So he knows what I do for a living. He runs into my office one day with an email from TripAdvisor, and he says, "Oh my God, look at what they sent me." And it was all his stats. He was so happy to get his own stats and his own ratings that day. Do you think that he's going to go anywhere else besides TripAdvisor? No, he became a brand advocate that day. By sharing and being excited about a brand, that's what he became as a brand advocate. And this is what happened with Merit as well. They grew their revenue, they grew their bookings, and they grew their CTO ratings. Just by giving customers their own data back. How many times did they stay? Where did they stay? So this is a new way to share data and use your data back to your customers. So I was going to go into a long thing about triggers, but I went from 20 minutes to 30 minutes. But this is a pretty advanced audience, so I don't want to bore you with a bunch of things like anniversary, birthdays, and all those other things anyway. What I will say is, if we're all doing the right things, how come it's only 7% of our campaigns? When, again, going back to our Q1 benchmarks, what we found out is that they generate 5 times the click rate and 2 times the open rate, 3 times the CTO rate, and $5 more per order. Now, obviously, some of this, you're thinking to yourself, well, yeah, because we're doing the right things and we're generating those reactivation, and we're also doing things, you know, when purchase browse behavior type of triggers. But there's more that you can think of. So I thought what I'd do is as we go forward, is talk about why triggers are so great, which is because they're timely, relevant, actionable, and they're informed by your data. But what's really great is that, hello, this clicker is having trouble. Sorry. When you look at Home Depot and how they use triggers, I want to talk about seasonal ones. This may be something that you're not doing today. Yes, it takes content. Yes, it takes effort. But what do you get in return? Home Depot actually used seasonal moments to trigger me and others with what to plant and when. So I don't actually think of Home Depot as the place I go get my planting from. And even though, and any of you from the Bay Area can attest, I have about a 4x4 planting garden available to me in my tiny house. So Home Depot is one of those things that we don't think about, but now I do, because they sent me this. So it's an inspiring type of trigger that they can send. So we actually, my team, the strategy team, does a lot of work on our blog, so I hope that you get a chance to look at it, how to take advantage of these energy moments. And I'm running out of time, so I'm going to go through this really quickly. There's more to June than just Father's Day. And DC owned Go Skateboarding Day, right? And so these are the types of things. One of my best customers is West Marine. Anybody a marine boater? Yep, West Marine, you know them for their boat parts, but they are actually trying to become the REI of water life. And so my job with them is to bring that to life. And they are going to own boat parades this season. Watch for it in your email boxes coming to you, because I'm going to help them to get those families and thinking about West Marine in a new way. And those are the types of things that you can do for your brand, is look for those energy moments. So finally, and I'm just going to wrap up here, I said I would also talk about the right device, mobile. You can't have everything together and then not think about the device that you're sending it in. It's like the mason jar for Bloody Marys. Quarterly desktop, a more even. I think that this is something that we all talk about mobile first, but are we doing mobile first? And I just want to show you a quick example of a mobile first experience. Well, we know why, because there's a growth in revenue and there's an increase in, but I wanted to show you this creative because we all love creative. This is from Olive Garden, another great client of ours. So taking advantage of the thumb and the scroll and the new behavior that people have with their devices that's always on in their pocket, Olive Garden did this really fun, I'm not trying to sell you anything, engagement play on their spaghetti and meatballs. And I don't know about you guys, but when was the last time that you sent out one of your email campaigns and the president of your organization sent you an email back saying how much they loved it? That's what happened for this team. And that's one of those things that can help you during your day, but if the president of the organization is happy with it, how many other people are, obviously the engagement was through the roof on this as well. But I think that I'm just trying to show that by even just disrupting your own template and really playing to what mobile is, don't think about all the kinetic, there's all kinds of other things that you could be thinking with mobile, but just disrupting your template can be enough. So, to wrap up, and this is actually a picture of my favorite Bloody Mary at my sister's house in San Diego, and we had crab and all kinds of yummy stuff. But to keep with the metaphors going, cover the basics first is what you want to do. Don't add the hot sauce until the tomato juice is right. So get your data clean. Be mindful of how and when you're collecting data. West Marine makes it part of associates' plan to get not only email addresses, but other data as well. And it's not just about collecting, but then how are you collecting first-person, customer-first data as well, because hearing from them rather than buying it is actually the best thing that you can do. So are you sending surveys? Are you sending interactive polls? What are you doing to collect that? And then taking advantage of mobile and that thumb experience. So thinking really mobile first. And of course, this is something we've been talking about for like 3 years, but it really is time. And this holiday, I know a lot of us are planning already for our holiday. It's really time to step up the game on mobile. Thank you for being kind, and I hope that you guys learned something.
All right, Kim. Kim, welcome back to the presentation, the world of presenting. Well done. Anyone have any questions for Kim before we let her off the stage? We got a tight schedule this morning, as Ken had mentioned. You have Jordan here on your team. Where's Jordan? Jordan in the back right there. Okay, anyone else? Is it just the two of you?
Just two of us.
Okay, very good. So if you have questions about what you saw here or other great things that these folks are doing, just grab Kim or Jordan throughout the next day or so. You'll be here through the duration. So thank you again for kicking things off. We're going to take about 2 minutes just to kind of refresh coffees and clean the room